Chocolate Man is back, baby. Mm. I want to try to emulate and exert more energy, about 10% or 20%, I don't know yet, to be able to train myself to be in that state constantly. And if I do it every morning as I start my day, it will start to become more and more natural to just go. Even though I'm quite tired, turns out if you go out with the bike and then think about a lot of things and watch social media and do sports late at night and eat about 4 steaks, it doesn't really help you sleep, especially the thinking about stuff. This I've already started this journey of being more expressive, more energetic, and I've started it yesterday. And since yesterday, I was like hyperventilating after the last video. I was like, whoa, I got so much energy, and I kind of got a bit awake from it. I was like shocked from the energy that I put out. I got very pumped, and it's that pumped state. I had it until very very late during the night, so I couldn't sleep. Plus, I did end up waiting for the air fryer to cook my steaks. So yeah, and I did go for a 1 to 2 hour bike ride because it was very cold. Well, not cold, but colder outside. So I wanted to enjoy the weather on the bike, which is even nicer because you're going quite fast. So it feels like the air is like blowing towards you. Yay! Funny jokes. Oh my god, it's so good to drink this chocolate. This chocolate, hot chocolate. I cannot English properly in this manner. I used to do experiments like this, but just on a very small scale, trying to see how sustainable it is to talk like this. And it wasn't really sustainable at all. I was trying to talk like this very fast and with a lot more energy, and I couldn't. For the life of me, I couldn't. It felt like I was living life on 2x speed, and I didn't. It wasn't. It felt like that. But now I can properly articulate myself and come up with ideas way faster. It's as if my mind is working faster. And that's the reason why I'm able to speak in this manner, because of all the exercise and elevating my skill level in speaking. I can now exert as much energy as I want. Well, not really as much energy as I want, even though you might think this doesn't look that impressive. It is. If you were here in the room, you would be like, whoa, this guy is emoting, he's energetic, he's filling up the room, and he's speaking super fast. How can he do that? Like, in a normal conversation, you have breaks. When talking in front of the camera without a cut, you have no breaks, which means you are doing both of the people in the conversations um, job. You are doing the speaker and the listener and the speaker the afterwards. So you're like speaking for both persons. So it's double the amount of energy that it takes, even in the most energetic conversations you've had in forever. Like for me, this is double the amount of energy that I put in any conversation, because in the conversation I take a break and I go like, okay, let's see what you got. And then in that break, I catch up my breath, I build new ideas, and I also have something to bounce off of. In this monologue, you don't. Plus, you have to be this very uh, Let's drink some coffee first. Coffee, chocolate. You have to be this unstoppable talking machine just so you don't have to edit. But until now, I haven't been because I didn't demand from myself. Well, I did at some points, but I wasn't ready for that level of energy because I didn't have enough repetitions under my belt. So now that I have about 500 to 600 repetitions under my belt, that is probably about 600 hours or less, let's say 300. Let's divide it by half. 300 hours of speaking in front of the camera, and that those repetitions have built to this. This was not sustainable at all just 6 months ago. Yeah. In January, this I did this test and it wasn't sustainable at all. It felt so intense to be able to just emote and talk with this high degree of certainty and like really expand my levels of energy this much. I was hyperventilating after 10 seconds of doing this. And yeah, now I don't. Even though I'm putting in probably 3 times the amount of energy that I was putting in a normal video just 6 months ago. It is crazy. Crazy to think how much progress you can make in just 6 months if you follow the rules of momentum, which is high repetitions every single day. 10, 6, 10, 5, whatever. How many repetitions you want. It can be 1 minute, it can be 10 minutes, it can be 20 minutes, doesn't matter. As long as you do multiple repetitions, you will start to build a habit, then you will start to build a lot of momentum, and then you will start to gain energy from the actual task at hand. You will not lose energy anymore. You will gain energy. And then you will be able to unlock new energy levels by just being more present and also by opening up to that level of energy. Like your skill is now at a level where you can expand the energy because you don't use any of the energy trying to do the skill of talking or whatever skill you are building. So you can modulate your voice. You can put emphasis. You can try to explain a subject or an idea in a more interesting manner with just a few words. You cannot need to worry about the subject. So that's what really emboldens you to be able to speak with such clarity and energy. It is without a doubt one of the greatest feelings of your life. To be able to know that you could be this person who can talk endlessly and have something to say that is powerful. I think it's really, really practical. And yeah, you can no longer call me low energy. No, of course, it doesn't seem that way. On the camera, it never seems, only in comparison does it seem obvious the improvement. Like this doesn't really feel like 6 months later, it doesn't feel like I'm running at a hundreds kilometers an hour. It doesn't feel like that. It feels like I'm putting in a bit of energy, just being like, okay, let's zap this conversation a bit. Let's put in some electricity into it, some pizzazz. But no, I know exactly the day when I tried this and I spoke normally, and then I tried to do the same amount of energy that I'm doing right now, and it felt fake, it felt unsustainable, it felt so difficult. It took so much energy out of me, and now it's almost giving me energy. I think that in about 30 days, it will start to pump me up and get me a lot of energy, even during the conversation, not only afterwards. Because yesterday, afterwards, I was pumped and really energetic and really uh, focused after I talked like this, because I was like, whoa. Because during the conversation, it's such an intense experience. During the monologue, it's such an intense experience that you don't have time to analyze what you are feeling and how you are feeling. It is when you are taking the break that you realize, wow, I'm feeling so much different, because you've been present. So the only way where this is sustainable is if you trust all your faculties. Oh, that was a Freudian slip. If you trust all your faculties, if you trust that the camera is right, the microphone is right, the mind will come up with the words that you want it to come up with, then and only then you can become present. And from that present, you can demand that level of energy that you want. Sure, it is kind of pushy. You are kind of pushing it a bit, because it is like you are a bit of asleep. In my case, I'm already asleep because I just woke up 20 minutes ago. And you are pushing that level of energy that you would get probably, well, never. In my case, I would never go this high, but I'm pushing it just because I want in the future. And I know that if I do this, it's not faking it. I'm not faking it at all. If you are able to, faking it is different. If you are able to do it, it's not faking it. It's doing it. Like, people don't understand this, that it's such a catch-all phrase, faking it. It's not faking it if you can do it. So we need to understand that. Like, if you are doing it in this moment, how is it that you fake it? It might feel like you're faking it, but it is not, because you yourself are doing the thing that you want to do. Sure, it might feel fake because it's such a discrepancy between how you feel, how you act normally, and in this interesting scenario that you've put yourself in, and you want to demand more energy out of yourself. So it might feel like faking it. I wouldn't recommend actually doing it from the start like this. Like, find your groove, build towards it, and when you feel like there is levels to this skill that you are doing, and you feel so much more powerful to be able to emote, or if it's the skill of talking in front of the camera. But if you are feeling this power surge and power level increase, let's say it's a video game, you then are able to start emoting and start being more present and more energetic. You don't have to push yourself from the beginning to be at this level. You don't jump 100 levels. You jump incrementally about 2 or 3 levels until you feel comfortable with the new monsters, let's say. So, yeah, I've been doing a lot of quotes. I've been doing a lot of air quotes. So I seem fancy. Yeah. One of the things that was really holding me, because this whole channel is about emotions and getting more in touch with my emotions. Last night, what it was holding me awake is the fact that I was kind of comparing myself to a friend of mine. And I was like, he quite often complains quite a bit. I don't want to like gossip. I just want to tell you. So he was like, and last night I was thinking that, how are you complaining? You make so much money. You have so many cool friends. You have so many friends. You started to buy all of this great gear. You have a new camera, a new very expensive laptop. You have a tablet. You have all of these things, all of these toys, all of these. You have a nice career. You have found a way to make a lot more money than you were making, well, 3 times more money than you were making just 6 months ago. How can you complain? How can you really complain about it? And then I was like, okay, I'm complaining about him. Okay, that's bad. And then I felt a bit sad because I was comparing my life to him, and I don't have as many friends as him. And I don't have as many good relationships with people as him. Sure, I'm a bit more abrasive, and that's probably why. Well, definitely why. So, and I cut people off if they bother me. And then I was like, interesting. And then I compared myself even more, and I was like, he has a better relationship with his family. And I was like, wow, my family, I've distanced myself from my family and my friends and from everybody else so much. And I'm like, wow, that's super interesting how far away I keep everyone. And I was kind of blown away by these realizations. And then, you know how it is when it's late at night and you start to think about things, and I was blaming everyone else except myself. And I would fantasize about how I would tell them, like, look, it's because of you. You don't care about me. And it's interesting because I was the one who distanced them, who pushed them away, not by doing not by doing it actively, but by staying out of their way. I was thinking that that is the way to solve all issues. Just stand out of people's ways and they will not bother you. And it's true, they will not bother you at all. Like, usually my family doesn't bother me at all, but they also minimize their care for me. So, yeah, that's the downside. So, be careful. Sometimes on the road to independence, you sacrifice the relationship aspect of your life with your family, friends, and loved ones. So, yeah, you shouldn't take independence as the end all be all of your life. I've been trying to be more expansive and energetic not the whole day, but whenever I film the video, just so I train myself to be in this very energetic state, very alive state. And I've been noticing that the world seems in slow motion whenever I stop doing this expansive, energetic, expressive me. Not only that, but I start to feel things in my inside of my body. I start to feel the sensations, well, the spit that drools down my chin when I speak like this. So, yeah, it's been interesting to expand so much and be a bit faster in my cadence of speech. And the key concept and key element that helped me, and I've noticed it right now, just a few moments ago, I've noticed that that was the key element that really helped me to achieve new levels of skill. And that was lowering my standards and stop the judgment. I stopped the judgment entirely. I do not care if I fumble, stumble, whatever my words. I don't care if I say if I don't speak proper English, if I don't find the right ideas and the right words, the right phrases to express myself. I don't care about that. What I care right now, I've lowered my standard. I don't care about the subject. I don't care about the idea. I've lowered the judgment in order to expand energy, focus, and of course, I forgot the third word, but it doesn't really matter. Energy, focus, and emotion. At least I think it's emotion. I cannot think in this state, in this way of speaking, in this way of being, you cannot think. And it's so interesting. It's so much more close to the present moment because you do not have time. You do not really have the capacities to come up with words, to come up with interesting ideas. You just have to trust. It's all about trust. You have to trust this expansive energy that is inside of you to emote, to express itself, and to come up with the things and pray to the higher powers that you will find the right words and whatever you're going to say, it's not going to embarrass you too much. But I don't really care about that. I don't care about it anymore. I've lowered my standards and my judgment enough to be able to emote and be alive. And I think that if I do this enough times, if I do this enough moments, if I cultivate this way of speaking and this way of, well, this level of energy and this level of expansion, I will be able to bring it inside my life, in my personal life and everywhere else, because I'm training myself to be in this state so many times a day that at some point it doesn't really feel performative anymore. And not only does it not feel performative, but I start to become it. It's not, I've been putting a lot of emphasis, I think, in the beginning of the video about faking it. It's not faking it. I don't feel like I'm faking it. I feel like I just turned up the volume and the speed. That's all I've been doing. It does feel a bit intense, but I liked it. I like it. I like the intense feeling that I get out of it and the fact that I have to trust myself. I have to see what the limits are. I work at the limits of my capabilities and my speaking engagement, whatever you want to call it. I do not know what I need to call it, but it is a way of speaking and expressing myself that gathers a lot of energy and it demands presence. The other ways of speaking do not demand as much presence out of myself. They do not, I can think. I've gotten to a level where if I speak normally, I can think and formulate ideas while expressing myself and I seemingly look charismatic, even though it's not at the level that I want to be at yet. But I do seem articulate, charismatic, and whatever else. I seem to gravitate towards that phrase quite often. But I want to become unstoppable. I want to become unrecognizable. And I think that this is the road and the path ahead. If I continue down this road and I build momentum by having this much energy and this much of a speed to through which I'm speaking, very weird sentence right over there, but it doesn't really matter. If I if I build the speed and the energy, then I truly become special. I don't want to emphasize that word. It just came out of me. But I truly think that I become unstoppable if I build that skill. And if I build that amount of energy every time I film myself, because it's going to be so much more decisive, it's going to be so much more confident. And whenever I'm putting energy out there, I can just do it as a switch, which I can't right now. I cannot find the strength, the locus, the internal locus of energy that I need to be able to emote so much. It's difficult. But I've been getting better and better. What is it? 10 repetitions, 11 repetitions, whatever. It's so little, but I still can do it more and more. And I still can find that it's improving. Even in 11 repetitions, I can find a word I can find a sentence, an idea, I can play. I don't really construct it as good as I would if I lowered my energy and lowered my speed with which I'm speaking. But I'm getting better and better at this energy and at this way of speaking. I know it sounds and it feels and it looks manic, but when I stop, I don't feel manic. So that's for me to deal with. But it's not going to be an issue just because I am a bit, well, now it's getting the parasite in my mind is being like, are we? Are we going to be manic? Are we going to be expansive and expansive and being so energetic until we break our mind? No, that's not going to be it, but I'm training myself to be a bit more expansive and get more energy out of it. Now I'm trying to calm myself down, but it's because I'm getting a bit scared of this amount of energy and demanding state that I am doing and the fact that I'm kind of losing the plot over there. So, yeah, it might for a certain while it might feel like I'm just yapping, which I'm always doing, but I'm might be feeling a bit more incoherent, if that's a word. But in due time, it will become better and better, and I can always go back to being a bit more calm. We don't have to be at that super intense energy all the time, but I still want to build it as a habit and put myself in that state in order to build the reservoir. If I need it, I can go up to that level. Thank you for watching and see you tomorrow.